Hello, my name is Robin Amanda Kelly, and I am a survivor of homicide, double homicide, by a gun, 1988. My brother and sister were killed at my family's shop. The reason for this video is to say I am against gun control laws. More gun control laws. We don't need them. I'm against gun-free zones, and let me tell you why. The day that my brother and sister were killed while they were working at my family's shop, the two assailants that killed them cased the other shops on the street, and the other shops on the street, the guys behind the counter working at those shops, were carrying a weapon. My brother was not. He did not want to frighten the customers coming in. He didn't want to give any indication that it was risky at the shop. He wanted to make sure that every customer felt comfortable. He was not carrying a weapon. Guess what the ultimate shooter said during the trial? It was an easy pushover. The two assailants came into our shop, killed my brother and sister, because it was an easy pushover, because my brother was the only guy behind the counter on our street where our shop was that was not carrying a weapon. Now, there's a lot of talk about gun control, and my heart goes out to the victims of all these mass shootings that we've had this year. I've also read quite a few stories of people who were carrying weapons who were able to prevent homicides, which is fantastic. And I got to thinking, I know homicide is a big deal. Believe me, I know. I lost my brother and sister. My sister was about to celebrate her first-year wedding anniversary. My brother had just had a baby about 3.5 weeks before, a baby girl who has never met her daddy because of the thugs, drug-induced thugs that came into our shop and killed him. He also left behind a wife. My brother also left behind a 2-year-old son. And his kids will never know who their father was, and he was a fantastic man, and ex-Army. He was in the Army previously before he started working at the shop, honorably discharged. But our shop, because my brother was not brandishing a weapon, our shop was an easy pushover, and my brother and sister were killed on that day in 1988. Newtown, school, easy pushover, gun-free zone. Criminal knew it. Aurora, Colorado, theater, easy pushover. They even had a sign that said gun-free zone. The guy knew what he was doing. He was going into a whole group of innocents. He had all the guns he possibly could need, and no one else was armed. These are tragic events. Very tragic. People lost lives. The survivors will never be the same, believe me. What happened to me and my family was in 1988, and I think about it every day. It pains me every day. I understand the survivors who are left behind and the grief. I am in no way, shape, or form trying to, I guess, put their grief on a shelf or not respect where they are. I respect where they are very much. Don't you think that someone, one of the surviving family members of someone killed in Tucson, when Loeffner, the crazy man, came and shot everybody up in front of the Safeway during Gabby Gifford's event that she had at Safeway, do you think that any of the surviving family members care about gun control in that situation? Don't you think they would have loved it if someone came in with a gun and prevented their loved one from being shot and killed? Newtown, don't think for 1 minute that any of those surviving family members have not thought of. In other words, think a moment. When it comes to losing loved ones, surviving family members, they may not vocalize it like I am, but surviving family members would love to redo it over and have someone else intervene with a gun to prevent their family members from being killed. I'm going to show you a statistic. So, you may have seen this in the news recently. Let's talk about crime this year. In Chicago, they've had 506 homicides. In Detroit, they've had 386 homicides. 85% of these cases were guns, illegal guns, from drug crimes. This is from the Chicago Police Superintendent Gary McCarthy. That's what he told the press over the last couple of days. It's also what the Detroit Police Department police chief was telling reporters, even though it was not reported, even though it was not reported that way. This is what, it's illegal guns and it's drug crimes. That's huge. Guess what? Law-abiding citizens, we're not out there committing drug crimes, gang crimes, or transferring illegal guns. Criminals do that. We don't. When you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns. I believe that. I'm a homicide survivor. It's been hell on our family. But don't think for 1 minute that thought doesn't cross my mind if only someone else was there with a gun. If only my brother, former Army soldier, had a gun on him, I bet you they'd be alive today. It's not their fault. I'm not blaming my brother and sister. I'm just saying brandishing a weapon sure can prevent some crimes. Now let's talk about crime prevention, and let's talk about trends and homicide rates. Folks, listen. Our U.S. society is safer than it's ever been. Let me show you some numbers. Department of Justice and FBI numbers. Take a gander at this. The year 2011, we had 12,664 people killed. Murders, 12,664. We've got 313 million people in our country. That's a lot. So that's not that... Yes, every homicide is serious. Believe me, I know. Every homicide is serious. All this gun control talk is making me crazy. So we had to go to the numbers. I had to go to the numbers. So here you go. Everyone believes that homicide rates are up. Mass shootings might be, but we won't know that until the FBI releases those numbers, right? Here are the numbers that we do have. In 1991, we had 24,703 murders. That means 24,703 individuals were killed 20 years ago based on these statistics. So look, within 20 years, 91 to 2011, we cut that rate in half. We are doing something right. You don't change things that are working. Now let's look at 1988. We had 20,675 murders. Still, 2011, we have way less than that, folks. We are doing the right things. Our murder rate is declining. Now let's look. What you've got down here is murder rates. What this is, again, Department of Justice and FBI numbers. This is the rate per 100,000 people. How many people were killed per 100,000 people? In 2011, 4.7. They consider this the homicide rate or murder rate in the U.S. 1991, 9.8. 1988, 8.4. Look, folks, homicides are declining. 1961, 1962 levels. Look at that. 2011, 4.7. 1961, 4.8. 1962, 4.6. And guess what? Those rates are the lowest in U.S. history. I would love to assist each one of those survivors of homicides this year. I'm not talking about just the 26 people that were killed, including the kids, at Newtown. I'm not talking about the dozens that were killed in Aurora, Colorado. Sorry. And I'm not just talking about the folks that were killed in Tucson. I'm talking about the 12,664 people who were murdered in 2011. I'm talking about, additionally, in 1991, 24,703 people murdered. 3 years after my brother and sister were murdered. Listen, folks, these numbers, you multiply them times at least 20, and that's how many people are walking our society today after surviving the loss of a loved one to murder. Murder is serious. I am not saying it's not. What I am saying is gun-free zones, don't even bother. You're allowing the criminals to know exactly where they can go for an easy pushover, no witnesses. I don't want that murder rate to go up. No more gun-free zones. Gun control. The only people who are going to abide by the laws are not the people committing the crimes. They are the folks like us sitting at home wanting to protect our home, our office, our possessions, and our loved ones. Do not issue more regulations and more gun control. Thank you for listening. My name is Robin, and I am a survivor of homicide. No more gun control laws. We're done with them. Oh, I don't know if I showed you this. Well, yes, I did. These folks in Chicago and Detroit have tons of gun control laws. Well, I say tons. They've got more than most. I also did some figures. My goodness. I mean, our whole crime rate's we're doing good on our crime rate, folks. We're doing good on homicide rate. That's all I really looked at was homicide rate. We've got a problem with drugs, and we've got a problem with gangs. We've got a problem with crazies who can go out there into gun-free zones and shoot everybody up. We've got a problem with that. We don't have a problem with guns. Thanks for listening. Take care. Again, Robin Amanda Kelly. You can email me at robin@sedonaspirit.us if you need to get a hold of me. Thank you. Bye-bye.